My name is Randall Stevens, and this is a little video for a class that I'll be teaching in the first semester of 2016, and that's Affluence and Anxiety, the U.S. from 1920 to 1960. This is a class designed to combine political history, cultural history, social history, to look at the flowering of art and culture in the 1920s and forward, and to also look at some of the major divisions of the era, whether those be political, social, etc. So some of the things that Affluence and Anxiety will explore include the story of this kind of general story of America in this age of tremendous upheaval that sees a Second World War, a period of prolonged depression, and then in the 1950s, an economic boom that is unprecedented in American and world history. So it will explore the major developments of the era from the so-called Roaring Twenties to the 1950s and the age of consumerism. Then some of the other major topics that will be included in the class, in the module, will be the sexual revolution, especially of the 1920s, the economic boom, the Jazz Age, the cultural production in film, in literature, and in music from that period, the Depression, and along with the Depression, the New Deal and the attempt by the Roosevelt administration to meet that crisis head-on. Military intervention beginning in 1941 with the United States entry in World War II, and then following on that, the Cold War. Social changes that are powered by those larger kind of macro aspects of the history of the period that will then trickle down to the rest of society in the United States. The conformity of the post-war years, the economic development, and what was called the economic miracle of America's return to a consumer peacetime economy, and then the importance of consumerism and mass consumption in the 1950s. As well, in the 1950s, we'll be looking at anti-communism, some of the anxieties of that era, especially that have to do with political and social conformity, and then the various groups and individuals who kicked against that. And we'll be looking at the beatniks in particular and at the rise of rock and roll music in the 1950s. So some of the debates and discussion that will follow from these topics in this module will be the U.S. involvement in world affairs and this tension between America as an interventionist power or an isolationist power, and as related to that, the power of isolationism, the boom and bust years, the nation's growing international role, and conflict and consensus. That in particular is especially important for the late 1940s and the 1950s. So the reading and teaching materials that we'll use in this class, which will combine discussion and debate along with traditional lectures, will be film, television, music, primary and secondary source reading, visual culture, and much more.